Yo, we still here with Dre. Let's just give a quick round of applause for Dre real quick. Woo! Dre, thank you for saying food. I got that in there.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. But yo, we just continuing this COVID convo, you know? Might as well just stay up on the numbers.
COVID convo.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about them numbers real quick. Cause
yes.
What I just read is stupid, which is that they're gonna label a death COVID, even if it's not from COVID, but it's suspected to be COVID. Huh? So I read about the new guidelines that the CDC put forward for labeling COVID death, or who died from it. Mm-hmm. And they're not even using strict testing in terms of, let's test to make sure that they had it if they died. They're saying even if it's a presumption or assumed, you can label it a COVID death. That's not accurate at all, bro.
I mean, yeah, but
that's kind of crazy.
No, but they don't have enough test kits.
Yeah, but
that's why.
But then
throw it in there.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
No. But I think. But hold on. But this is the difference, because remember, they have suspected and they have confirmed. Confirmed ones are the ones that have been tested and have found to have COVID-19.
Right.
Are they saying that this is just suspected? Because then it makes sense. It's just suspected.
It says
if it's labeled as suspected.
Yeah, so that's fine.
No,
I'm saying if it is. I don't know.
Let me see. I got the actual joint right here where it says what they're doing.
Yeah, because if they label it suspected deaths, then that's...
It says, huge from the CDC website, hospitals to list COVID-19 as cause of death, even if it's assumed to have caused or contributed to death. Lab tests not required.
Interesting.
So, I mean, and this is an article, so keep in mind this is someone writing this, but it says the media is bombarding Americans around the clock with updates on the death count, highlighting death maps, and scaring people into staying home. Governors are forcing small businesses to shut down and threatening to jail anyone who violates their authoritarian social distancing orders. The media hysteria is based on a Bill Gates-funded IHME coronavirus model that has been proven to be way off. And it goes on to say that the CDC now has this new code. So, all hospitals use codes when they're listing things in their records. It's saying that the code, which is established to keep track of the deaths, it says, because laboratory test results are not typically reported on death certificates in the U.S., NCHS is not planning to implement this new code that the CDC has come up with. And basically they're trying to say this is a huge problem because according to the language of the CDC, they're basically allowing doctors to say that a death was attributed to COVID-19 with no lab testing. They're not even taking into consideration the fact of the pre-existing conditions. You know what I mean?
What's the thought behind that? I wonder.
I think they are taking into consideration the pre-existing conditions. Because remember, those that die are most likely those that had pre-existing conditions. That City of Boston article about the curfew, whatever, it said like 25% of the deaths in the city of Boston were people who had asthma.
It says CDC Gov guidance for COVID-related deaths is as follows. Any death where the disease caused or is assumed to have caused or contributed to death. Confirmed lab tests are not required. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is this. You got to confirm shit. I mean, you can't add that to the bundle and just be like, yeah, that shit was COVID.
Add that to the bundle. You know? Yeah, yo, I agree.
No, but how about this? How do you confirm it if you don't have enough kits to confirm?
No. What do you do with those cases, I think, is the question that you can't confirm.
You take the blood sample and you go ahead and you say, we don't know what the death is at this time, but upon confirmation, we will add to the...
Right.
But what they're doing is they're adding to the COVID death.
They're just trying to inflate the numbers.
So now
I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but that's what it does.
You get what I'm saying?
So okay, the angle that y'all are at. Only reason why I disagree is because it's more of a manpower situation. Imagine you're working in a hospital and you're already understaffed, and on top of that, staff members are now contracted with COVID-19. So now your pool of employees is shrinking. all at the same time, your patients are increasing. And not to mention, you're limited in resources, limited in the test kits. So then now you're like, all right, we have X amount of patients that are displaying these symptoms. And these symptoms could be closely related to the coronavirus, like other confirmed people have had. So in their eyes, they're like, yo, hey, listen, you got two options. You could either come to the hospital and stay here and be quarantined, or you could just go home and monitor yourself, this, that, and the third. And then when you go home, we'll just say that this is a potential COVID-19 case. You get what I'm saying? Because what else can they do? And
Well,
so,
it's not. Well, I don't.
but imagine
disagree with
if, but
you.
what I'm saying is, imagine that person goes home and they die like a day later, an hour later, a week later, right? Are you going to now say do not include them in the corona statistics?
I wouldn't include them in the statistic of death.
You see, I would, but I would put it with a caveat that it's suspected, not confirmed. You know what I mean?
But they're not. But here's the problem:
and
you're being logical and you're being judicious in the way that you're saying you put a caveat. The media is not doing that.
Yeah, it's just one number, yo.
It's just one number, yo. These are all the people that have died from COVID, and it's like.
But imagine if they don't, though. I'm just putting out numbers out here. I'm not saying this is correct, but let's say 2/3 of the people who actually have died in the past couple of months, right, have been either loosely or have been strongly connected to COVID. However, they weren't confirmed. 2/3 now of people just recently died, right? Like they probably had pneumonia, they had the dry cough, they had a fever, all of that good stuff. But however, they didn't get tested. So you guys are saying 2/3 of the people that just recently died shouldn't be classified at all?
Because here's the problem, right? If you have a situation where pre-existing conditions are the majority of the cases, a lot of scientists are saying, we got to sit back for a second and ask ourselves, was it the pre-existing condition that caused the death and corona just pushed them over the cliff? Or was it corona? And those are two very different things.
Yeah.
Right? Because even in general, if you have pneumonia or flu and you have a weak immune system, they tell you to be careful in certain situations because your immune system is so weak that you could die from something. But they don't necessarily say the thing that killed you was the reason for your death. It was just because you had a lot of complications.
How about this perfect example, right? When they say people who catch AIDS, right? AIDS isn't what's going to kill you. Person who has AIDS, their immune system's compromised. So then if they get the common cold, technically the common cold killed them. But what started that common cold from killing you was AIDS. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The coronavirus is the same concept. So it's like you contract COVID-19, right? COVID-19 magnifies your health, right? So then now your body's in a compromised state where it's either it's trying to recover or it's like, yo, fuck, I can't handle this. I'm shutting down. That's what's going to happen. So now it could just be, you could be like, oh, that person didn't die from corona. They died from asthma, or they died from pneumonia, or they died from a heart attack, which is true. However, we know that the coronavirus is kickstarting these asthma attacks, these hearts to stop, these lungs to be filled up with water, these people to die due to shivers and all of that good stuff.
At the same time, there are people who die from contracting corona, and corona is the cause of death.
Yeah, the accelerator.
They get it, it destroys their lungs, it fills it with liquid, it destroys the bronchioles, and they die from contracting corona. Not because of pre-existing conditions.
But how many people is that?
Exactly. We don't know because everything is being lumped in.
But remember, because this is how I look at things. I remember one time I said this on the podcast. I don't know if Ron remembers this. I was like, yo, let's say there's 5 of us in the studio together and we all sniff coke. Like we all just sniff a line. Nah, it sounds crazy. Probably 2 people will be high, but they'll be fine. Another 2 might have to get rushed to the hospital. And the last person might actually die from complications or whatever. It might speed up the heart too much. Could be a number of things, right? We all react differently to something that's attacking the body. Some people have stronger immunity, so that it's like, yo, it ain't that serious enough. But for other people, shit is real. That's why I'm like, I don't have a problem with the CDC or with different government organizations like the World Health Organization and things of that nature saying, yo, you know what, for the time being, because we're in a state of a pandemic, we don't have enough kits and other resources to accurately measure and determine who in fact has COVID-19. I'm cool with them putting a label of, you know, asterisk of suspected corona death or what.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
See,
They're not
suspect-
even
No, I know, but
Yeah.
but even
they're not doing that.
But what I'm saying is, like, I think what you guys are saying is not to list it at all, and that's a problem too, especially when you're trying to calculate the life expectancy of this virus. You need to know this information.
Nah,
but
we
think about what-
both, I think, are on the same page with a suspected virus being listed. You know what I mean? But to lump it into one number where it's the deaths, the cause of deaths, and the suspected deaths, I think you do have to be very specific to label that as a suspected death. Whether or not you choose to do that as the public is, you know.
Because here's the problem, right? We are forgetting that people die every day, minus COVID.
Mhm.
Minus the COVID thing, people are dropping dead every single day in large numbers, just as the natural effect of being alive in a dense society. People die every day by the thousands. And so let's say on a regular basis, 10,000 people die each day, right? But now those regular 10,000 people that would have already died and would have had some other reason for their death, they're just automatically going to get thrown into the role of, yo, this was COVID. If that death involved any kind of lung issue or issue that mimics what COVID looks like, they're just going to say, yo, it's COVID. If you throw that into the models, now the models are going to be slightly off because here you're saying all these people die from COVID, and the model is going to take that information and say, okay, these people died from COVID. Here's the future outcome. The models can be thrown off by that as well. In my opinion, I'm not a scientist or a statistician. I could be wrong, but to me, it just seems like common sense. If you say this many people died from it with no asterisk, and then you throw that into a computer model, the computer model is going to spit out something based on what you input. But if your input is off because of the fact that you haven't properly separated those deaths, then we're going to have a shit show of information.
Yeah, very solid. Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Now, you know, it's funny. I was talking to Super Kev a couple of days ago. He was saying the same thing. So he doesn't like how they're classifying the COVID-19 either. Because he's like, yo, it's not killing people. People already have pre-existing complications. They need to label the pre-existing complication as the culprit.
Right.
But
because it's binding with that pre-existing.
Exactly. So that's why, to me, it's kind of like, I can see both sides of the fence, right? However, because we're not testing everybody, I think it's safer to just lump them all together with COVID-19. Because if, in fact, all of these are closely related to the COVID-19 outbreak, we need to know that so that way scientists could minimize it and regulate it as best as possible.
Yeah.
If what you're saying is right, I don't mind that. Just don't publicize it on TV.
Yeah, right. I'd say the same thing.
Nah, but
because you know what that's doing to people, yo. You can't lie to people, and you have.
But they're not lying. You see,
you're not lying, but you're not
lying.
Being entirely.
Yo, you gotta understand, people are puppets. I remember I was watching like Fox News, like this was like back in the days, like probably like over 10 years ago. They said 60% of the United States will listen to whatever the president says. Whatever he says, like they're rocking with it. 60% of the U.S. I don't know if the number's the same anymore, but back then it was 60%. So if like, let's say Obese or Clinton or Bush or whatever said like, everybody stay in the crib because there's a virus out to get you. At that time, people didn't even need evidence. They're like, oh shit, yo, it came from the White House, so I'm staying in the crib.
They call it white.
Do you think that people deserve to know the difference between the pre-existing condition deaths and the non-pre-existing condition deaths of COVID?
But what I'm saying is this. What happens is when you're underfunded, like this has always been my
If you're saying they're inflating the numbers to get money.
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying inflating numbers seems like there's some type of like wrongdoing behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is because they lack the resources to accurately diagnose people.
Right.
I think it's safe to say, hey, you know what? Say that this is a potential COVID-19 case, right? And so, like usually with the World Health Organization, they do the confirmed, then they do like the survival rate, they do the death rates and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if in fact we have a bunch of people. Like that's why I said 2/3, right? Like 2/3 is like what 66%. Imagine 66% of people that have been dying in the past couple of weeks, right? Haven't been tested, haven't been going to the hospital. They just been doing whatever they're doing, right? Now imagine if they're watching the news and the news isn't even talking about it. You know what people are gonna think? This shit ain't serious. You know how I know? We literally had an episode about our first episode about the COVID-19. Brothers was on here talking about, yo, this shit don't kill black people. This shit ain't serious. It's and the third. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna do me. Da 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 da. And that's why. Why the media has to report deaths or report cases to force people to go like, oh shit is real right now.
Yeah, but no one's arguing that. We're saying
I think they should be more
honest and accurate with what you're saying are deaths. Like if you go in and you see cases, that already lumps in people who are positive and negative. You know what I mean? So then you have to break the number down again. Well, how many of those people tested positive? And then you see the number of people tested positive. You say, okay, how many of these people now then die? Then you look at how many people recovered. Then you look at how many people are still in a stable condition. The people who have died can get broken down further into pre-existing and non-pre-existing conditions. I'm just saying that number could be public, and I think it deserves to be public. I hear what
you're saying, Rome. However, you got to factor in manpower, which we're limited in right now. The healthcare field is limited in.
You can still do it. I think that you're compromising. I think your compromise isn't the right one. I don't think it's a good compromise. I don't think you take pre-existing and lump it in with non-pre-existing because you can't confirm whether or not these are pre-existing or not. You leave that data out and let it, and you come back to it and you put the asterisks that you're talking about.
Or no, you mean confirmed versus non-confirmed.
Yeah. Confirmed versus non-confirmed. Excuse me, different. Yeah, you know what I mean. You take those numbers out, and so when you have the confirmed cases and then you have the death from those confirmed cases, I'm just saying they can take the extra step.
All the numbers that I've seen have been the confirmed cases. So unless Dre is now saying that they're going to just say all of this shit's confirmed.
This is...
Like, what are they going to actually label it as?
It was National Vital Statistics System. This is from the CDC.gov, and the date of this is March 24th, 2020, and it says new ICD code introduced for COVID-19 deaths, and then they go on to list what the code is. Like the technical code it's called U07.1. So I guess that's what they're going to start listing on certificates or whatever. But in the language, and I'll actually send this to you guys so you can take a look at it. But in the language, apparently it's vague in the sense of it saying that we don't have to have confirmed results to call it COVID, to say it's a death from COVID. If it's assumed, throw it in there. I'm just saying.
I see where y'all coming from. I can't front. That it seems kind of funny.
Because think about it, right? They do the same thing. Let's take, for example, I know this is a slight tangent, but they do the same thing with mass shootings, right? They'll say, the media will be like, oh, there was 30 mass shootings last year. And then they don't realize that the definition for a mass shooting is like one. 2 or 1 or something like that. So it's like
just 2 or more.
2 or more. Yeah. So now, if I wanted to craft a message that guns are bad and
you know what the average person's thinking.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, God damn, 30 mass
but I think that's a poor comparison because they're not lying. It's just the average person doesn't know the definition of a mass shooting. That's just the listener.
So the other person doesn't have responsibility with their language?
No, they're accurate with their language.
Even though they're accurate with their language, you know that they're being misleading.
Yeah, they have an agenda. No, I agree. That person has an agenda.
So they have an agenda, and they're being misleading.
They definitely have an agenda, which I agree. But what I'm just saying is, to say they really broke it down thoroughly, right, about all the COVID cases around the world, this and third. For one, it would take too long for a news segment. You know what I mean? And not to mention, a bunch of people will tune out. You know why? Because there's a thing called NPR, and a lot of you motherfuckers do not listen to NPR because I think it's too technical. Like, let's just be real.
They just need better.
Well, listen, to G's point, information does have to be, for lack of a better word, dumbed down for the average member of the public.
Yeah.
Because people, they don't like the details, and they just want to hear, yo, how many people did it kill? And then that's it, right?
They don't give a fuck about nothing else.
But to a degree.
Or niggas go, yo, what color were they? Oh, word?
Yeah.
They ain't black. I'm outside, yo.
That's a fair thing when they ain't reporting it, yo. Yeah.
But to a degree, right? Here's the problem with that is that's the kind of mentality that contributes to a whole host of problems in society, which is that people don't care about the details. They just care about the quick answer or the quick solution. And so,
yeah, they want to know if they're in danger. So if the person who speaks to a group of people, who speaks to millions, is okay with putting out information that can be slight bit misleading, and I know media rooms definitely have a vetting process. You know what I mean? So for them to put some of these things out without putting out that breakdown, I mean, it's just a little irresponsible. You know? But hey, we can jump into the first question if you want. You know what I mean? Let's go back into, we got 3 solid questions, yo. You know what I mean? Let's hit this up. So it's CEOs of Disney, MasterCard, MGM, Salesforce, and Harley Davidson all resigned during the COVID-19 outbreak. Should recent CEOs be allowed to cash out their shares in the business immediately after stepping down from their position if they are aware of an upcoming dip in the value of the company's stock, if this information is withheld from all other investors in their company? Should they sell their shares?
I mean, that's a tricky one. If it's withheld, then that means that there must have been some kind of insider knowledge, but I don't think you can punish someone for being perceptive about what's coming. Like, there's a lot of investment companies that they could kind of see and model what was coming, and they shorted the market. They bet against the market, and they made incredible profits. And it's like, do you blame them for that, for being prudent and kind of looking at how things play out versus trying? You know, some people are more pessimistic and some people are more optimistic. And you got people who out there who they look at the news cycle and they go, okay, I see what's coming.
But Dre, this is a little different because these are CEOs that run global operations. And because they have global operations, they're aware of what's going on in Europe. They're aware of what's going on in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America. So they know before their shareholders. And remember, the primary function of a CEO, right, is to work for the shareholders. They have to abide by the investors.
Fiduciary responsibility.
Thank you. Fiduciary responsibility. If you are aware that, hey, you know what, your investment is about to plummet because of an outbreak that's going on in Asia, and we know because we have an operation in Asia, we have factories in Asia, this, and the third, and instead of you going, hey, you know what, let's disclose this to all of our shareholders, and you just go, I'm going to step down and I'm just going to cash out real quick. So then when this shit hits, you could just play dumb. Yeah, that's evil. And that should be punished.
Yes, you're right. And I'm just going to say you're right. However, can you imagine how many companies could get destroyed?
No, you see, and that's a funny part. You're right. If in fact they disclose that information, like, yo, shit is getting real in China. Yo, operations is down. Yo, production to decline by 40%. Everyone's selling. Like, everyone's selling their stocks. You know what I mean? So, and then what happens is the company takes a plummet, all of this stuff. So, I see that. But the reality is still, you work for your investors. So, you can't not share that information. But you keep it amongst yourself and your executive board. Like, yo, shit's getting real. Yo, we're going to cash it out. But we're not going to tell
let's be honest. Isn't that presumptive of us to assume that that's what happened? Because at the end of the day,
bruh, listen, all of these CEOs stepping down at the same time. Come on,
it wasn't like it was the same day.
No, it wasn't the same day, but it was all within the same month. It was all within February. Come on, bruh. Like, now there was a few that stepped down before the corona outbreak in China, so that's why I didn't include those companies. I only included the ones that knew about what was going on in China.
Hold on, but you're saying they knew about it. You know they knew. No, here's what I'm trying to say, right? Those are just the names that you recognize: MasterCard, Disney, whatever, whoever.
No. There's actually an article.
I know the article. I know.
There's an article where the dude actually disproved, like, you know, because everyone's saying, oh, there's like 20 CEOs that all dipped out at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then they actually looked at when they resigned and why they resigned. And they determined that these companies, it wasn't due to the corona at all. But they did identify the ones that I listed as these are strong possibilities they stepped down due to the corona outbreak in Asia. And so knowing that, it's like, that's grimy because you didn't inform none of your investors. And these corporations have like millions of people that are invested in their company. No one got a memo.
but all right. So you invest. Let's say one of the companies you invest in sent out a letter and said, "We see this outbreak happening in China." And first of all, I don't even know if it's legal to do that because we're saying this, but what is the SEC?
It's not insider trading when it's public.
No. I'm saying, is it legal to
disclose?
To disclose your opinion as a CEO about something happening in another part of the country? And
no, but you're not releasing an opinion. It's fact. Like, think about this. Why do you think corporations release annual reports or quarterly reports?
Yeah,
right. To show people, like, you're literally showing with numbers, like, all right, yo, listen, production has declined, or sales has gone up, but production has gone down, so we have a little problem with overhead. You know what I mean? It's a number of things that they display with their annual and quarterly reports.
I got it.
So they're just telling you the truth. So now if they know, like, hey, you know what? We have a factory in China, right? Let's say like Tesla or something, right? Tesla is like, yo, damn, production has stalled because of the outbreak. But imagine if Tesla doesn't disclose that information. And then Elon Musk just out of nowhere steps down. And he cashes out and disappears and flies to Mars. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, what the hell?
I'm just trying to say, I don't want to sound like I'm always the contrarian here, but I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to look at it from a logical point of view. Like, okay, you get this information.
Yo, people, logically, you wouldn't want to disclose that information because you know it will hurt you. However,
well, how does it hurt you? How does it hurt you?
Because you know people are going to bail. You know millions of people are going to try to get out.
But the truth is, don't companies do that every day? Don't they disclose information that they would rather not disclose, but they have to do it?
Exactly, because by law they're obligated to. But best believe if it wasn't checks and balances, these motherfuckers would keep it to themselves and just pray nobody finds out. We know how grimy corporations are.
Let's not say corporations. Let's say how individuals. Because you can't. I hate this idea of blaming corporations.
Hold on. All right, let me explain something. And which I've explained before with you and Rome. The reason why I say corporations are evil, it's not like I'm saying like they're intentionally trying to do greed. You gotta understand, when a corporation is now a sole entity, you are no longer Dre or Rome, the individual, right? You have to represent the corporation to its best interest. So then now, for example, I'll give you an example, right? Like, let's say we started upanicd LLC, right? And we manufacture something in the United States. But then we go like, if we take our operation to the Philippines, we could get our production costs cut by like 90% because there's no human rights regulations or whatever in the Philippines like they have in the United States. And we could get children to build everything that we're trying to do. You as an individual, your morals and ethics may say like, I'm not for this, right? But you as the person that's representing the corporation, you got to go, what's in the best interest of our shareholders? What's in the best interest of our investors? And remember, corporations, their fiduciary responsibility is to maximize the profits of the shareholders. If in fact, shareholders will make more money if we open up shop in Asia, then you're almost obligated to open up shop in Asia. So I mean, that's why it sounds
almost obligated. That don't sound like you know for sure that that's the case.
Yo, bro, I'm telling
almost
you.
Obligated. It's either you obligated or you're not obligated. You're almost obligated.
No. What did you say?
I said you're either obligated to do something or you're not. How can you be almost obligated?
No, the reason why it's almost obligated because you don't have to do it. But remember, when you present why you didn't do something to your shareholders, you know what's going to happen? You have to step down as the CEO because your investors are going to be like, yo, he got to go. So then now it's way beyond you at this point. And remember, there's corporations where the CEO started the thing from the ground up and their investors got rid of them. Yeah. Papa John's is the perfect example I'm thinking of recently.
Or even Apple. Remember, they got rid of...
Oh, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So now think about that. Like, you created this, But your investors are like, you gotta go, bro. You know what I'm saying?
the reason why is because it's now publicly.
That's what I'm saying. It's publicly
It's now
owned.
publicly traded. So
Exactly. So now the shares are voting rights. You know what I mean? And if the people who own a piece of your company are like, yo, you're not popping like we thought you were. You gotta go.
Absolutely.
I don't. Gone. So it's never about ethics. It's always about productivity. That's the difference. And then if it's only about productivity, then the people that thrive are usually going to be narcissistic people. And hence, that's why they said, like, I think it was like, I got to look it up again, but only like 5% of the world are narcissists. However, amongst CEOs, they said it's like 60% of CEOs are narcissistic or they have narcissistic tendencies. Why is that? Because it pays to be a savage, especially in the corporate world.
Well, that might be the case. And guess what? We're saying narcissistic as if that's an automatic bad trait to have. Oh, everyone has traits that are this is dead ass, right?
I'm listening.
Right? Everyone has traits that someone may deem. Let's take masculinity. Some people think masculinity is a bad trait to have. You shouldn't be masculine, especially in 2020, right? They think that it's something that's negative. So what I'm saying is you might argue that, hey, my masculinity is a necessity for how I live. So the same thing can be done with narcissism, right? My narcissistic tendency is what got this company to $5 billion profit. Mm-hmm. If I was a soft CEO who was just picking lilies and like, oh, everything is, peace and happiness, we probably wouldn't be making no money. So there is a trade-off is what I'm trying to say between a certain personality type and leadership.
No, I definitely
agree. Something there. There's something there.
I definitely agree. But so pretty much now going back to the original question though, when you're trying to jump ship, knowing that shit is real for everyone else,
of course that should be.
You better open up and be like, "Yo, it's getting."
Of course,
real.
that's you're dealing now with morality. That's the moral thing to do.
But even the legal thing to do, because now the only thing about legally is hard to prove.
It is.
But however, let's say the shareholders can prove mismanagement
and they should get all that. They should get
CFO level, COO level. Yeah. If they could prove that these people that were in charge knew the shit was getting real in China, and they all bailed and then just cashed out and didn't disclose that information to anyone else. They
should go to jail for that.
You know what? Yeah, go to jail. I was going to say just a fine or something, but yeah, you're right. Go to jail.
They should go to jail. You know I mean, look at. There were a couple Democrats. I always start with Democrats, but there were some Republicans too. I think there was a couple politicians. Let's start with that. Mm-hmm. But I think they were mostly Democrat who. They were the heads, or they were part of the intelligence boards.
That's the next question. But I highlighted the Republicans. But
but they were But if we're being fair, we know that there was a majority Democrats that were part of that.
But the difference is they know that the head of the intelligence committee, who is a Republican, he cashed out. Matter of fact, Rome, you should probably...
Yeah, I was going to say, let me just jump into it, Yeah, let me just get this
one out. I didn't even know that was a question.
Yo, come on, son, I'm on this, yo. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm
saying? Listen. So 4 Republican senators, including the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, sold substantial holdings of their stocks worth millions of dollars.
You got some answers to do.
All right. Read that again.
Sure. 4 Republican senators, including the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, sold substantial holdings of their stocks worth millions of dollars right before the stock market tanked due to the coronavirus outbreak. Should these politicians who were privy to the inevitable market collapse due to COVID-19 face harsh punishments? What's your thoughts on that?
What's your thoughts, bruh?
Okay, give me your.
No, I'm asking you. You already know where I stand. So,
all right. Obviously,
we don't know if it's obvious with you. So.
Obviously, if they got information from the intelligence committee that was obviously, how do you put it, privileged information based on intelligence on the ground or whatever, that stuff that's not available to the public, and then they immediately from those meetings decided, hey, let me go ahead and try and take care of myself personally. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's illegal. It's fucked up, but I don't know if it's illegal. But if it is illegal, they should obviously be prosecuted for it. if it's not illegal to
Well,
do
from
that,
an ethical standpoint, because remember, they're politicians. So,
of course, but come on, politician is the definition of unethical. You know what I mean?
but they run on being ethical people, and hence that's why
But
you
this-
should
well,
vote for me because I'm
no.
trustworthy.
This is why. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell y'all something right now. The only reason I voted for Trump was because of the fact that he was not a politician when he ran. That's it.
Okay.
If it was not for that, y'all wouldn't catch me in any of these elections because you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, I think people need to hold politicians to a higher standard. Absolutely, and if what we're describing from this question is accurate, and that these individuals, these Republicans, sold off stock after they learned what was coming, you can make the argument that yes, they should be punished. But here's the problem. Even the World Health Organization and prominent figures within the scientific community in the beginning were saying, you don't have nothing to worry about. This is not a problem. Even Dr. Fauci himself, just in February, was like, Americans should go about their business. This is not going to affect you. There's no reason to panic. So what I'm saying is, if some of these individuals who are scientists and highly ranked, whose opinions you should be holding up, were saying, don't worry about it, this is not going to be a problem. This is why they're actually asking the head of the World Health Organization to step down. There's protests going on for him to step down because it's as if he's playing interference for China. And a lot of people have been making that argument.
Which I've been saying since the beginning of this corona outbreak, where people are like, oh, this is xenophobic, this is this and third.
No, the actions to be xenophobic.
Yeah. They've been playing the World Health Organization.
The World Health Organization and all of these local politicians and senators talking about, oh, it's not that serious. We need to support Chinatown and this and that. I was like, sounds like bullshit. Because if a pandemic's coming, you do not say that dumb shit. You say, motherfucker, stay away. But they were pitching that, and then why? Because the average person is thinking, oh, kumbaya, civil rights, this and that third, during a pandemic, bro.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
Well, listen, to speak for the people who were talking about xenophobia and racism, they weren't talking about people who were trying to be cautious of any packages coming in from China. They were talking about the people who were just being assholes.
Bruh.
Nah.
Y'all called me. Hold on.
Yo, when y'all talked about Jeezy and Jeannie Maya,
I'm not going to China. I'm not going to Chinatown during this time. Y'all were like, yo, that's just racist. I'm like, what? Like, remember Walker
when you
was
weren't
like,
going? No.
Like,
that we didn't say it directly like that, yo. You know what I mean? It was more about
racist, bro.
Yo, because you seen a group of Asians with masks on and said you got scared.
Yo, that's a legitimate.
I got kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's legitimate. I don't care who you listen. Hey, you know what it is. You know what it is. At the end of the day,
you know what I mean?
At the end of the day,
yo, champion that xenophobia. And
you see what I'm saying? You see, that's my point. That's my point.
You see, I agree with G in the sense that we tend to forget human instincts, man. We try to replace human instincts with all this kumbaya social justice.
Yo, out of those instincts comes ignorance sometimes, no?
Maybe.
Guess what?
Absolutely.
In ignorance, there's a place for ignorance sometimes. It could save your life.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Just own that racism, yo. Just own it. You know what I mean?
Racist.
Just like,
you know what's funny? Hold on. Hold on. Yo, Dre, you're also on the same group chat as all of us, right? Yo, they were sharing videos of what was going on in Asia, bro. What was happening in Wuhan?
Yeah,
kidnapping
people.
Yo, did you verify some of them IP addresses?
Bro, stop it, yo. Running up in stores with Ghostbuster outfits,
let me tell you
spraying it down while people are typing on their computers, bro. And I'm like, yo, but y'all gonna tell me it ain't that serious? Like, bro, it's serious over there. You know
verify the location.
First of all, again, World Health Organization was playing interference for China. This is not my opinion. This is the opinion and what looks like the facts for a lot of people, including journalists, who are looking at this and they're saying, hold on a second. How is it that all this was going on in China and you, who are supposed to be the guardians of public health, are telling people, don't worry. As a matter of fact, Trump himself stopped travel from China January 31st. Before anybody in the United States was saying this was a problem, blah, blah, blah. Even the World Health Organization said that Trump was being xenophobic, which is Now it's been said that had he not done that, the cases would have been worse. And so,
Bingo.
and then
Who said that?
The media has been saying.
Yeah,
What,
wrong.
you know what I mean? Like
media.
The news, bro. You know what I'm saying?
what I'm trying to say
I
is,
just want to know who y'all pray to. Yo,
okay,
you know what I mean?
no, it's not. Okay, put it this way. The same doctor that everybody's listening to right now, Anthony Fauci, right? He himself has said had that Trump stopping travel from China that early played a significant part in the mitigation of cases going on right now.
Dre, on top of that too, right? What people aren't even factoring in. Remember, these are the same politicians that were telling people do not wear masks.
Yes,
now they're telling us to wear masks.
Exactly.
Yo, that's crazy, and nobody's outraged by that.
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, am I by myself with this shit? I'm like, these are the same motherfuckers said, do not wear masks. Now they're like, wear masks. They're like, yo, bro, just 2 weeks ago you said not to.
Not
only 2 weeks ago.
Not only that, right? Here, let's cap it off with this. The same politicians and media were calling it the Chinese virus and the Wuhan virus. It's all over the internet. All the news segments where they were like, oh, the Wuhan virus, China. The minute your boy said it, it became xenophobic and racist. You know what I mean?
Yo, hold on. Remember?
Yo, that's because he made it hot.
Wow, because he made
it hot. Talking about?
Just like when that sister,
he did make it hot. He's a bigger voice.
When Shorty was like, oh, you know, we've heard people from your cabinet calling it the Kung Flu virus. And he's like, yo, who said that? She goes, oh, I heard. He goes, well, who told you that?
No, I seen him when he was doing that. He was like, nah, you need to tell me who said that.
I heard. And I'm like, yo, so you just gonna make that up? You literally on national television. You got a press release pass. Like, you have access to the
I remember that one.
Commander-in-Chief. And instead of asking a legitimate question, you ask propaganda.
Yeah,
yo, she got exposed.
No, I seen that one. That was ridiculous. I agree with
that
y'all.
was crazy. But this is what people are doing. So, like me, like that's why I'm like, you know what? I wasn't bothered by when Trump was calling it the Chinese virus. I remember we talked about it on the podcast. Y'all were like, yo, gee, no, that's racist, this and that. I'm like, bro, it literally birthed in Wuhan, China. Like, when MERS happened in the Middle East, y'all didn't have an issue with it. When Ebola was affecting West Africa, y'all didn't have an issue with it.
They call it the West Nile.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Yo, Dre, they don't know. They just don't know.
Nah, the average person doesn't know. But here's the thing. No one was necessarily calling you racist. I think the bigger thing is people are clearly... No, I definitely called G racist.
I know.
But listen...
You and Walt called me racist for that. I was like, what?
But the thing is when your peoples are telling you this is disrespectful... I'm going to just ride with them and say, well, let me see what's disrespectful. I'm not going to just not investigate it is what I'm saying.
Okay,
but
so
if Asians are telling me, yo, it's disrespectful to do this, they're Asians in America. They're in a certain time. You have to consider that.
Flying shit.
No.
Hey,
relax.
Hold
on.
About
the pit.
I'll
say this. Yo, Rome, I actually agree with you on that, right? Because remember,
not during a pandemic that came from China.
I literally have students from China, literally from China, and they were like hurt. And they experienced corona racism. I actually agree with them on that.
Shit. Come on.
Dre,
see?
Bro, Dre. Hold on, let me explain.
Corona racism.
Yo, my students came up to me, right? One of them was overly emotional, almost to tears. And the other one was there, but she didn't really say much. But they were like, their homegirl went to a class. And the professor said, in front of the class, right? Hey, if you feel sick, you need to stay home. To the only one Chinese girl in the classroom, in a room full of white people, you're gonna say that to that one girl. That's racism.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So with stuff like that, I agree with Rome. That's wrong.
That's a very granular, specific.
Yeah, but when it comes to calling it the Chinese virus, bro, I don't have an issue with that.
But
when
you guys have to understand.
Don't go to Chinatown.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't go to Chinatown because I'm saying Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying don't go to Chinatown right now because they're doing close trade with the motherland and they're shipping in all of these products and all of these animals from China. Right now, it's not safe. So that's why I was saying, like, I'm not going over there. They were like, a word? Because it's xenophobic. I was like, huh?
There's a responsible way to do it, and we were talking about someone who did it recklessly. You know what I mean? That's all.
Let me ask you a question. Was it reckless for, let's take Nancy Pelosi, right? She went down to Chinatown and was inviting and telling people we're open, come down, don't stay away, right? This was just in the thick of it when it was starting to get bad. She was telling people to go to Chinatown, and now
That's reckless.
She's telling everyone to stay home and this and
facts, Dre.
No, that's reckless.
So it's like
quarantine. Nigga, you just tell me to go to Chinatown to get sick. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like,
so like, why can't we just be adults about facts?
You know why? Because people's feelings have to get factored in. That's my whole argument. That's what I've been saying about the stimulus package. It's like you can't have grown-up conversations with people that just want a paycheck. So it's like
it's not even about. I think I don't mean to cut you off. It's not even that. It's not even that, yo. It's just more about you have to consider all, right? If you're about community, you have to consider those who also don't think like you.
Time for that.
No, but you're criticizing a politician who's supposed to do that. I'm not talking about you and I.
No,
but
she's not supposed to do that.
So a politician that I elect in office isn't supposed to have my interest?
She's not supposed to tell you.
No, she is supposed to have my interest at heart.
Absolutely. But it's yours and mine if we both put them in.
But she's supposed to tell us the truth.
So now she has to weigh that out.
She's not supposed to tell people during a pandemic.
Go
during a
pandemic. I agree that
go to
that
Chinatown.
Was reckless. There's no argument there. That was super reckless. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything like that.
You know what I mean? Like, you can say,
hold on.
Don't.
Rome, you're killing me, son. Because
because we talk shit up here, man.
2 episodes ago, you and Walt literally was saying this, like, nah, yo, we going to Chinatown right now to go.
I mean, I definitely.
What?
I still had some Chinese food.
Yo, hold on, Dre. These are the same dudes, right? One said, yo, I had Pad Thai last night. I'm like, bro, that's not even Chinese, fam.
And then they're going to call you racist, right?
But they're
going to call you racist and they say, yeah, Pad Thai.
But niggas say,
because there's all love from my heart, yo. I love it pouring out of G's heart, you know what I'm saying?
That's what they all look the same? Huh, Rome? They all look the same?
Nah, the Pacific Islanders look a little different than like the rest of the day.
Niggas say I had Pad Thai. I'm like, bruh.
Y'all are terrible. You know what I mean?
You see how some people can they can think they're virtuous and they don't even realize they're saying some shit.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Nah. Listen, I be clear.
Yes, and by the way, speaking of Pad Thai, you know who is fervently calling this the Chinese virus? The fucking Taiwanese. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Like right next to China.
Yeah, but they don't consider themselves
a part of the
Chinese. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You said it was far away from China. You were like, it's not even close. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're saying Taiwan, bro.
Hmm?
Pad Thai.
Oh, I thought he said Thailand.
Oh my God, bro.
Jesus Christ. Hey. Yo, it's all delicious to me, man.
Listen to that shit. It's all delicious.
Yo, but you got to be comfortable with yourself. G be trying to knock it. He's trying to be somebody else. You know I didn't know.
At the end of the day, all these politicians who was trying to. By the way, let's talk about what Italy was doing. Remember what Italy did? They had a national campaign to hug a Chinese person.
Yo, that shit was fucking asinine.
Okay. So
I haven't seen this.
You need to look into it.
Oh my God, Rome. You gotta look these shits up.
Before it got bad in Italy, they had a social justice campaign.
This sounds racist just within it.
to hug a Chinese person because
they're going through it.
Don't like they're racist.
And now they got that they dying by the thousands. And nobody's putting 2 and 2 together. You know what I mean?
That was just ignorant and racist. Nigga, shame on whoever came up with that.
I think it was just as ignorant for the fucking mayor of Boston and Michelle Wu to tell Bostonians, please go patronize Chinatown right now. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
yo, you could Uber eat some shit, but
Rome, I'm telling you, you seen those videos? Motherfuckers literally got Ghostbuster outfits on, running up in stores, spraying the bitch like serum. I'm like, what is going on with it? They grabbing people by their apartment buildings.
They're locking people in the building, soldering the doors.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, these dudes seeing the same videos I'm seeing. And they still got the nerve to be like, nah, bro, you're racist, dog, for staying away. I'm like, what?
They have a very tough job to deliver delicate news to the public responsibly.
So let me ask you a question. Was the Chinese government being racist?
China does what they do what they want.
I'm just saying, you look at the tactics that they used in China, and all we were saying down here, when you look at the contrast, in China, they were welding your door shut with you still inside your crib.
Yeah.
Okay, they were pulling you off the street forcefully, but you're saying over here because some people might have gave some Chinese people some bad looks or moved away when they came on a train. All of a sudden, they're the worst people in the world. Get them.
Nah. All we saying is Trump had a responsibility to deliver the news delicately to his Chinese people in his posse.
It's a fucking pandemic.
Yo, there's Chinese people in his posse. How you gonna disrespect them right out?
You're not disrespecting them.
Hey, yo,
you're not
that's what y'all want to do.
You're not disrespecting them. You're not disrespecting
to call it the Wu-Tang flu? What did you call it?
No, I did not.
No, nobody called it that. Trump never said.
You see what I'm saying? The
he never said that.
Flu. You see, he trying to be funny. You know what I mean?
What did he say? He said the Wuhan flu or something, right?
No, he didn't say
Wuhan.
It. No. It's from Wuhan, China. You know what I mean? Because the food markets in Wuhan, China, that's what's causing the spread. So, yes, if he says it's the Chinese virus, he's technically accurate.
That's and not only is he technically accurate,
the Kung Fu
but
flu was reckless.
Well, Kung Fu, but guess what? Nobody could say who said that. Nobody could say who
she
said
made
that.
it up.
She probably just wanted to get it off.
Thank you.
She was like, "This is actually pretty good."
Viral. She wanted to go viral.
You know what it was? It wasn't even so much that she probably heard it from a White House official. It was just circulating online from dudes making jokes. People online were calling it the Kung Flu. They were joking about it. She probably heard that online and somebody probably got in her ear and was like, yo, that came from the White House. Or they just wanted to attribute it to the White House just to cause more problems. And I'm with Trump with this. He's been calling out a lot of these journalists to their face during these press. Like, what are you trying to do right now in the middle of the pandemic?
Fear.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I told Rome, right?
I was criticizing your people.
Y'all, I was like, yo, Walk. I was like, Rome, none of y'all had an issue when people were calling it the Middle East virus when the corona in the Middle East was happening. No one had a problem with that. Nobody had.
Yo, I wasn't 34 then. Number one.
Yeah, but
number
nobody. Even when
Ebola
hit, right? No one had a problem saying, "Yo, don't go to West Africa." It was justified. Same thing with Zika, right? Everyone was scared to go to the Caribbean, bro. It didn't matter what island. It was like all of the Caribbean people were like, "You sure you want to go?" Right now, because of Zika, You see what I'm saying? Like, it happens, bro. It's not due to racism. It's just due to we're fighting something that may beat us.
This is something that is finally hitting the U.S. on the ground, okay? So people are responding however they want to respond. I say that because all those things that you mentioned didn't have, like, a crazy direct effect the way it does today with COVID. You know what I mean? So all those things were distant. And you know how people are just in general, everybody. They're just this way where you're not really panicking until it affects you. So when these people didn't affect them then, they weren't looking at the serious of it then. It's serious now. So be serious and deliver your message.
It's serious now because of the fact that people weren't also heeding the warning then. For the most part, when you think about it, Trump has let the experts speak. He's always letting them speak. And whenever he says anything, he's usually referencing what he was told by his group of experts. Now, when he confronts the media for trying to bait him with questions or trying to put words in his mouth or trying to like use these false premises to panic people, he's different in the sense of, unlike past presidents, he's going to call you out to your face right there live on TV. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
And that's what he's doing.
You know what Trump got? He got white privilege.
Yeah.
He can do what President Obama just could not do in his wildest dreams. You think Obama didn't want to go ham on these Republican news reporters asking them stupid-ass questions? He couldn't do that. But Trump, he's a white man. So he's going to be like, yo, listen here. You talk foul to me, I'm going to call you out. And justifiably so.
All right. Obama could have got away with anything he wanted.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he could have.
Bruh, you seen that footage when Obama
Everybody
got off the plane?
loved this guy.
No, it's not true. When he got off the plane and then this woman just kept calling him Saddam or something like that, and she kept like pointing at him like this, like pointing her finger on his chest. And I'm like, she's violating the president of the United States, dog. Like, one of his Secret Service dudes should just snap her neck, but like, he just let it rock. You think anybody could do that to Trump?
I mean, look at all this shit they do to Trump. What are you talking about, bro?
Let one person, anybody, put a finger on Trump and see what happens, son. You know what I mean? Like, He'll take that toupee off so fast, bruh. Stop it. Stop
Listen,
it.
listen. To wrap it up, I'm saying World Health Organization running interference. They could have been a lot more serious about this. And to the question at hand about investments and selling things off, they themselves, the reason that you're going to have a problem prosecuting any of these CEOs is because they could easily point to the World Health Organization and be like, but they didn't think it was a problem. So me stepping down.
Nah, that doesn't even correlate, Dre.
How?
You can't say, oh, because the World Health Organization said it ain't that serious. When you have inside information, when you know shit is real, and you choose not to disclose.
So the only inside information you can have is what? That your factory is not working? Like what?
Yeah. You know
okay,
so hold on. And on top of that, in regards to those senators, right? Now, they're getting intelligence not just from different like military bases and different organizations like the FBI, the CIA. They also in close communications with countries in those areas. You know what I'm saying? So they know the real what's going on. They know like it's something fucked up in China right now. It's going to shut down production in the United States and across the globe, and it's going to probably start a potential recession.
But think about this. Can you really
didn't know that? Come on,
can you really control what someone does? Because this is all about stocks, right?
Yep.
Let's assume you heard something back in early 2019 that something was going to basically happen by 2020, and you decide to sell your stocks.
But you see, that's hard for me to prove. But that's hard to prove.
Exactly.
This isn't hard to prove. And hence, that's why people are asking for those Republican senators to step down. And these are Republicans and
Democrats.
But what I'm saying is Republicans are asking for these Republicans to step down.
Yes, they are. They are because they're saying
because they're like, yo, that isn't right. And
they're saying basically
what they did was wrong. It's unethical.
Yes,
even if it isn't illegal, it may not be illegal. People are still saying you need to step down. We're not having that no more. Enough is enough. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And
I agree.
Know they ain't gonna get reelected.
I agree.
That's big facts. You know what I mean?
They should be investigated. They all should. The Republicans, Democrats, anybody who came from one of those intelligence meetings and immediately tried to profit from it should definitely be investigated and punished to whatever the law says they should be for any kind of insider trading.
Okay.
But it's not insider trading what they did though. So,
profit. I don't know. Is it profiteering or because what is the crime?
I don't think it's illegal what the senators did.
Exactly.
They just got hip to some information as representatives of us, but they didn't share that with their constituents. They just said, "Oh shit, word! Let me take out all my stocks." That's what they did, and everyone else found out too late.
So but then when we really look at it,
it's an ethical argument. So that's why people are saying for you to step down.
I got you, but come on, dog. Like, come on. Let's be real honest, right?
I thought you was Christian, Dre. No.
What I'm trying to say is, we're dealing with Washington D.C.
Oh, so we're dealing with snakes.
They all gotta go.
Right.
The whole swamp gotta go. Because how you gonna point the finger for this specific instance? But they all been profiting off of the people's backs for a long time.
That is true. You know what, just DC has problems within itself. Because I still don't understand how in 2020 we still have lobbyists. That is crazy. Well, we have corporations that are buying politicians. It's so outrageous that sometimes I wonder, and I know y'all be making fun of me when I be like, yo, one day we're going to get to the Star Trek.
One world government?
Yes, we're going to get to the Federation one day. When we're going to realize, you know what? We need to put aside selfish gain and think about our people, think about our nations, think about the world. And then, once that happens, we'll come up with solutions. We wouldn't have these.
I'm going to tell you the reason why that's not going to happen. The reason that's not going to happen. No, it will happen. But I'm going to tell you, it will happen under an authoritarian thumb. Because you're not going to.
One more.
You're not going to come together unless it's a global threat. Again, unless
that's my point. Yeah.
Unless there was some aliens that's coming to us and we could see the ship coming and everybody's like, yo, they're going to arrive.
Yo, with Fuel and his mothership arrive with the chariots.
Unless it's that.
Out to the God, yo.
Unless it's that, always remember that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Big facts.
That world government shit.
So in other words,
there's going to be somebody at the top.
Especially y'all two, Stay humble. Because when you get power, it's easy to forget your humble beginnings. Dre, I'm talking to you particularly.
Get out of here.
Hey,
Whatever.
I'm just saying, stay humble.
Stay humble.
Staying humble has
Sit
nothing
down.
to do with with where you came from, because
Hmm?
humble is just the way you treat people. It's a
more than
behavior.
that. It's more than that.
You don't have to, like, this argument that, like, oh, if you came from the hood, don't forget the hood once you make it. That's kind of a nonsense argument to me.
What?
There's layers there. There's layers there.
Yo, bro, Dre. Listen here. You literally are championing a stimulus package for your business, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Because the government didn't forget about you as a business owner.
I'm not championing it. I'm saying.
But you're going to take that money, though.
No, I haven't even applied for it.
But
I haven't even applied.
Yeah, apply.
Yes.
I haven't applied because I'm still weighing the decision.
Yo, Rom, you hear the fuckery?
I'm listening. I'm trying
to. Yo, you trying to play us. The reality is this. The reality is this, right? We as a community, we have a tendency when we become successful, we just alienate our neighborhood. We move away. We don't interact. We don't mentor the youth. We don't do a number of things. But when you look at our white counterparts, they're the polar opposite. They take pride in building their community. We don't. Why? Because we never put our race first, our ethnicities first. We don't do none of that stuff. But every other group that comes to this country, they do just that. And then so it's just crazy when I hear black people go like, I ain't gotta stay humble. Why I gotta give back to
No. Pause. I never said that. I didn't say I don't have to stay humble.
It sounded like I didn't give a damn about slavery.
Staying humble has nothing to do with saying that you support where you came from. Because to be quite honest with you, if I came from, let's assume I came from, which we all kind of did, right? Mm-hmm. We grew up right there in the field. A lot of murderous gang activity, a lot of BS happened. Like, why would I ever want to embrace that and go back to that?
Because we don't want to embrace it. We want to change it. We want to improve it. That's what we want to do.
But I'm talking about people who... I'm not talking about improving.
Like, perfect example, right, Joe Dre? You're an educated man. You're an entrepreneur. You're a successful man. You're a husband. You're a father. These are attributes that a lot of young brothers in the hood don't see on a day-to-day. You get what I'm saying? So we're obligated. That's why I always say, yo, stay humble, because we are obligated to give back, especially to those less fortunate.
But you got to understand, giving back is going to mean something different for everybody.
I agree, like, but still give back. I'm not saying, no. I'm arguing the fact that people be like, I don't want no parts of the hood.
Well, I never said
issue. That's my issue.
I never said that. I'm talking about that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying give back. Don't have your nose up at your own people.
I agree with that.
Don't put Bill Cosby with the pound cake speeches. Everything should come from a sincere place, because you just have the same message, but the delivery be off and people take it the wrong way. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. Farrakhan can say the same thing that Bill Cosby is saying, but people take it differently because they go, Farrakhan believes in our people. Farrakhan has the best interest in our people. I'm not saying Farrakhan, but I'm saying
I know.
That's how people receive Farrakhan's message. You see what I'm saying? Like, but if you're like one of those people, like, I feel uncomfortable being around the hood. Shit, too many black people around. Y'all gotta be out. It's like, yo, come on, son. Like, that's crazy. But you feel 100% at ease when you're around white people?
I don't know if that's the correct way to put it. Man.
Yeah, at ease when you. Let
me tell you something. Let me just give you a quick anecdote, right?
Okay. After this, I gotta do the third. Go ahead.
Before we bought our crib out here in Bristol County,
see how that rolled off the tongue.
Okay.
Bristol County.
All right.
And listen, but to be quite honest with you,
all right.
To be quite honest with you, we don't live in like some gated community, but it's a hell of a lot better than where I was.
I mean, yeah.
In terms of safety, in terms of having two little girls and feeling like, God damn, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clappings going on right outside the crib when you're just trying to enjoy a lunch or a breakfast, like having to dive and go find your kids. Like, that shit's crazy. Like, who wants to?
It's wild.
You know
it's wild.
Nobody wants to embrace that shit. So, can you imagine if someone who is less forgiving emotionally comes from a situation like that? They're gonna say, "Man, fuck the hood, man. I can't stand the hood. I'm not." they're not gonna even have any kind of
That's most black people that say "fuck the hood, I'm out of here."
yeah, because they're not gonna contextualize what they felt when they were there. They're gonna say, when I was there, it was tough, it was problems, it was killings, it was gangs, it was poverty. I don't want any piece of that anymore. So they try to like psychologically shut themselves off from it, and they just distance themselves. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying it is what it is. That's what people do. Now, I'm all for giving back. I'm all for setting the right example. I'm all for not forgetting where you come from, in the sense of not pretending like you were born into a certain position, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problem saying where I came from or how, what school I went to or what neighborhood I lived in. Some people are embarrassed by that. There are people who are like, I don't even want people to know that I was from this block or from this city. They try to pretend like they never were even born here. And that's a different thing. That's
I done had students, literally be embarrassed to be coming from the hood, because most of their friends and everything in college are all from like different suburbs and everything. And I'm like, what? I'm like, if anything, you should wear that like a badge of honor. Because
why though? But see, you can't see why. You can't see why they're embarrassed.
I always explain why. Because where they came from, they went to inferior schools. They're from neighborhoods that were crime infested, that were impoverished. They didn't have, wealth to like purchase tutors and have foreign trips every summer to like different countries and research labs that they could intern at and all that stuff. They didn't have those resources. All they had was grit and hard work. And they performed in the same spaces, the same classes as these wealthy counterparts. To me, they worked 10 times harder than those kids, and I always remind my students. What I do is I like to bring my students around like successful, like black people, right? That people I went to school with, people I worked with, people I hang out with. I like to show them like, boom, look at this. You know what I mean? Like for example, our intern, right? Ned the intern, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of my students. And I was just like, bro, think bigger picture, Brought him around dudes, and he was like, gee, thank you, I never been around so many positive, forward-thinking brothers. And that's how you do it. Stay humble. Yeah, you're making this money, but don't forget those that were behind you, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying, Dre. Like,
but I get you. But only because like I look at for example like any kind of rapper or entertainment cat.
This is the last rebuttal, by the way.
Who makes money, right?
But like, everybody shut the fuck up.
Go ahead.
And they're successful, but they still kind of like try to hang around or portray a certain image from the hood as if that's the lifestyle to live to get where they got. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but
like
they're not talking about them.
Yeah, but that's what we see. That's not the majority of what we see. How many black scientists, doctors get put on the pedestal, and entrepreneurs? It's like when you think black success, it's always basketball, football, and rapping.
Shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to that cat. Yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna take us, man. It's gonna take us, brothers, to say, hey, you know what? Let's change the narrative.
Yeah. So, let's get this last one out, According to one of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention scenarios, they estimate between 160 million and 214 million people in the U.S. could be infected, lasting over a year in the U.S. If these projections hold to be true, do you think our current way of life will forever be altered? Will our children grow up in a different America?
I'll be honest, it has to. Because you're talking about damn near 2/3 of the population disappearing. That's kind of crazy. Like, I don't even know if America would still be a superpower if that's the case. That's just like outrageous, bro. That's like a movie. That's like a science fiction movie.
Do you know if they're saying? Do you know if those are projected deaths or infections?
No, they're infections. So
infections. Okay.
I mean, infections is different than death, obviously.
But still, 2/3 of the population catching corona, like.
But that's actually, to be quite honest with you, though. But you see how we can sensationalize things. Like, there are probably diseases and bacteria that everybody has right now sitting dormant in their system. Because as you know, a virus doesn't die, right? Viruses don't die; they just go dormant. And so you can't kill a virus. So there just has to be a certain set of conditions for that virus to thrive, to come back into circulation or population. So we're probably carrying all types of shit with us right now that just hasn't manifested itself. But at the end of the day, specifically to COVID, it's actually probably not a bad thing that many people become infected, because then there'll be some type of herd immunity,
like immunity built up.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, and that's an argument being made right now, which is this strict quarantining could backfire because not enough people are going to get it to create the antibodies and the herd immunity effect. So that when we all go back into society, all these fresh bodies that stayed away will just get hit.
I thought about this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you know
boom.
what I just thought about while you was talking, Dre? We didn't even talk about the city of Boston doing the curfew now.
Oh, yeah. We could get into that.
Oh, yeah.
Because as you know, the virus only lives at night.
Yeah, 9 p.m. What is it? 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You are not allowed on the street.
That's bullshit.
Nah, you
9
know
p.m.
what
to
I'm
6
thinking?
a.m.
Yo, this is what I'm honestly thinking, right? Because I think what they're thinking now is these are going to be people traveling from out of state. Because like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you can't leave the state. And if you come into the state, you have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. I think, Massachusetts is probably going to do the same thing. And not to mention...
6? What is that? What
I'm saying is, this. I always try to justify why they make certain things, right? I think because at nighttime, there's less police on the clock, right? And so because there's less police on the clock and less healthcare professionals on the clock, I think what they're saying is stay your ass at home, because if you out and we pull you over, we're going to give you a ticket or something's going to happen. I just feel like because they implemented this curfew, I think it's to monitor those that are coming into the city or the state, because other states are doing the very same thing, because they're like, yo, too many people are crossing state lines and they're doing it at night. So maybe this is a way to regulate that.
But even still, right? Like, unless you specifically say we're in a martial law situation and you shut down cross-border,
but they are though. Like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they're like, you can't even
No, you can still travel.
No, you can, but if you come in, automatic quarantine 2 weeks. You know what I mean, with those states. So
if you come in from New York or New Jersey, they quarantine you right away.
Yeah, and they're looking for
what do you mean they quarantine you right away?
They're looking for like people with like
TSA.
Rhode Island plates. They're literally going around neighborhoods like, I just do got out of state plates, and they literally start knocking on doors.
But even then, so they knock on the door, they ask you where you came from, because I'm actually not far from Rhode Island. It's 30 minutes away from me. So when that news hit that the Rhode Island National Guard was like pulling people over who had New Jersey or New York plates, all they were really doing though is taking down their information, and then so that in the event that they do come down with some shit, they could track where they were and stuff. But all that being said, they're not telling them you must stay in your crib though, or we gonna put
on the news they said they have to stay self-quarantined for 2 weeks.
Because even if you self-quarantine for 2, what if you're a single individual? How are you gonna eat?
Oh man, hey man, I don't know. This is what they're saying.
Because you know what I'm saying. Like the city setting up.
You could say F that. I'm not gonna listen. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying. Has the city set up? It's easy to tell everybody to just stay inside, right? But are you providing services for the people who you're saying you need to stay inside? So is the city going to deliver food to people who say, I'm going to self-quarantine for 14 days?
Listen, hold on. In Spain, what are they doing in Spain right now?
I don't know.
They're quarantining people in Spain. They're not playing. Everyone stay your ass in the crib. So it's like, what are they doing over there?
Yo,
I don't know.
Real quick, random. How's Russia doing?
Russia shut their port. They're good.
Yo, their numbers are low. You know what I'm saying?
I don't see anything over there, and I'm trying to figure out.
Yo, their numbers is low. I don't understand. I was like, I would have thought they would have had high numbers.
They shut all borders down immediately. That's why.
But
they did it very specifically.
But G's racist though.
Okay.
Nah, that wasn't racist. He shut down all borders.
Russia said we're not
no one's
playing.
coming in.
Nobody coming in here. Chinese, Japanese, nobody coming in.
That's how they say
Yeah, exactly.
And don't forget, they border Asia, right?
That's
so it's
all
all
saying.
one
They didn't even let their
continent
Chinese comrades in, dog. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
They shut the whole shit down.
No comrade. You know what I mean?
I had to
A
check.
couple countries did that. A couple countries with very, very, very low incidence of cases and death did that. They shut down.
Yeah, I was wondering because Russia's huge, and I'm like, what's going on?
Dog, don't say that, dog.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Putin ain't fucking with y'all. You know what I mean? Yo, you know what was crazy though? At first, Israel's numbers were low, but now Israel, their numbers is jumping up. So
Yeah,
it's getting kind of crazy now, fellas.
I don't know, man. And now they're saying China is having new cases.
moving again.
You know,
Hold on. I thought they were done. Oh man, that's crazy. If that happens, man,
I know.
it's nothing we can do, man.
Isn't that? I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
Just get your health up, yo. That's all that matters at this point.
That's really all that counts to it. It's like get healthy.
Crazy.
Yeah, stay healthy, be healthy,
Yeah,
work on your
healthy,
immune
like,
system. You know,
Because at the end of the day, this ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So this whole argument of we're gonna have to keep you locked up until it's gone is nonsense.
I'm not gonna say nonsense.
It's nonsense because now you're okay.
I swear, every time on you panic, somebody has to panic, yo.
Dr. Fauci said, "To hell with the economy." When they asked him on CNN, they were like, "Yo, so what do you think about all these states that are not enacting quarantine? Should we just do a national quarantine and just force everybody to stay inside?" You know, I'm paraphrasing. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know why we're not doing that." You know? And then when they asked him, "And when is this going to be over?" When he says, "When there's no cases and no death." So you tell me, if there's
like
no cases and no death, that's a long haul. Your economy is done. Your country is over.
That's why he's not the sole decision maker.
Yeah. And that's funny you said that. That was the name of the article. Like, it said something like why people like him can't run the country. Because if it were up to him, we would be invaded in no time, dog. Because can you imagine? Think about it. We're the most powerful.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is what I know about human nature. People adjust. So
are you out of your mind? They already yelling Allah Akbar.
Listen. People adjust. People think about this, right? Look at like college students. They be all hella radical. Them SJW students. Them kids be like ready to burn the government down. Mm-hmm. Once they get their first job, all of that shit's out the window. Why? Because they got responsibilities now. They got bills to pay. You see what I'm saying? The moment that dude, the scientist, becomes a politician, watch his words switch up, his demeanor switch up, the way he pitches things going to switch up. Why? Because he has to cater to his audience. Everyone has a particular audience. Hence, why you think I could talk this way on this podcast, but you think I'm talking like this at work? Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I want to maintain my job, so I have to activate the code switch.
The code switch.
Yo, you gotta activate the code switch, bro.
Code switch.
Hey.
Oh, shit. Listen, I'm trying to say, if we go past a couple of months, you know, they've already started putting critical military in underground bunkers. They call it Cheyenne Mountain.
How you know this type of shit, man?
I just read it, dog. Y'all don't read?
Inside plug, son?
Okay, so look up military moves critical personnel to Cheyenne Mountain. So there's a underground bunker. It's like 2,000 feet underground. Mm-hmm. And the Pentagon has moved critical personnel. They've already moved them there. In the event that shit on top gets critical, you need people who can still run the nukes, who can still run the weapons, who can still run the intelligence, because if we lose that capability, now we leave ourselves open for invasion, for war. And believe you me, man, we get weakened enough, China or Russia is coming. What would you do as a world power?
Ain't coming. We got nukes, bro. We got nukes, dog. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which is why they activated the whole Cheyenne Mountain Protocol.
That's what I'm saying.
And throw these dudes down there.
They could panic if they wanna. You know what I'm saying?
You would think during a crisis like this that you would cease military operations, but China has already sunken ships in the South China Sea. Like, they're not playing no games.
Whose ships they sunk in?
They sunk an Indonesian ship.
Oh, all right, yeah, because they soft. You know what I'm saying? We talking about America. They ain't doing that.
And then they threatened. They're threatening to sink all the Taiwanese vessels out there.
I guarantee they won't threaten no U.S. though.
But the U.S. had to scramble and send our votes
Ain't
out.
no
Though.
scrambling. We got
Well,
Trump.
dog.
We got Trump, dog. We got
Well, listen.
Trump.
Well, that's
the
the point
war
I'm trying to make.
president. We got the war president, bro.
Yeah, listen.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
wouldn't fuck around
That
with this
nigga
dude.
gonna press buttons, son. You know what I'm saying?
When he dropped that bomb
Trump
on,
finna press all kind of buttons. Like he might just close his eyes and just start. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, thumb thugging, bro. I'm telling you.
yeah,
You think his troll game is crazy? Don't
I
let
know.
him. Don't let him. Don't
Trust
let
me.
him warm up them fingertips, bro. It's over
Trust
for all
I
y'all.
believe
You know?
that.
Don't let
I
him
believe
warm
that.
up
But what I'm
them
Yo,
saying is,
listen. If Obama was in office, I'd be a little nervous right now with what you saying. But I got Trump, bro. So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sleep well at night. I'm gonna sleep well at night, son. You know what I'm saying?
sleep well at night.
When he
That's
pulls
good.
that trigger,
I've never heard
Yo,
anyone say that.
listen,
That's
yo,
good.
Rome, think about it, dog.
That's good.
He
You know
said,
how
"You know
beefy
what?
he talk?
I got Trump."
Yo, he talks so beefy. Like Trump talks
He
so
don't, he
beefy.
don't play.
I believe
He
it,
don't
dog.
play.
I'm like, yo, he don't
He
play.
don't play.
He don't play.
He don't play. When he said,
Yo, I
yo,
hear you. But
remember that whole
Never.
tit for tat with North Korea? How he was calling this dude Rocket Man,
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Shorty, and all this shit. And you would think after all that Kim Jong-un would never shake this dude's hand.
Mhm.
This dude shook his hand, invited him into the country.
Nah, I seen that. I
Y'all
seen that.
Remember that video? I think I showed y'all this a long time ago. The way Trump be shaking niggas' heads. He grabs the shit, he backs it.
Yeah. Yo,
Like,
epic.
Like you his underling, yo. Like
Epic.
yo,
Epic.
it's so crazy. He's like, and he'll turn your hand, he'll grab it, turn it, and go, my son. And I'm like, damn.
Give you a little pat on the back of the
Yeah,
hand.
bitching politicians, bro. He be
That's that
bitching politicians.
narcissism to run shit.
Hey man, listen. Hey, you right. Hey, you right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But like I said, if they try to tell us that we can't go back to work for a year,
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's the last. Yeah, just to get back to that question here real quick. Freaking,
I don't know.
I think that it's gonna affect it to the point where we're not back at work until
it's deep
fall.
depression.
Yeah,
There
that's not
is-
even a recession, bro. That's gonna be like, that means production has ceased. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think they'll let us out in summer and then put us back in fall.
Oh, listen to
That's
you.
my guess.
dog. Like we sheep.
like,
Yo,
like
what
we
did-
chickens
what
in the
did
head
Marty
in
say
a
today?
coop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, what did Marty Walsh say? He said, "Yo, if y'all staying in the house, I'll let y'all have a summer."
y'all stay in the house, you got permission to
He
be out.
didn't say I'll let you have a summer, but he was like, "Yo, if y'all want a summer, you better stay in the house."
Get the fuck out of here.
He said
Yo,
that verbatim.
Yo, this shit is getting outrageous, dog.
So I think they gonna
And a
let
lot
us
of
out
people,
for the
that's what
summer.
a lot of people are saying. They're saying it's not even the federal government enacting all of this. It's the local governors who are going crazy with the powers.
See, I think it's different. I think it's the federal putting the information out there, and then
No.
I think the states
The state, well, because there's
are
such thing as
doing
states'
what
rights.
they think.
There's things called states' rights, right? That's the whole Constitution right there,
Yeah.
right? The federal government can only do so much. The states have the right to enact whatever they want to enact constitutionally. So, for example, with the guns, Trump specifically said gun stores should remain essential, but he had to leave language in there that allowed governors to make the final call. And so the governors were like, fuck out of here. We closing the stores up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on a couple gun email lists from some stores, and I've been getting, I've been getting these emails like, unfortunately, we have to shut down due to, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and before they were
afraid
open,
of the rioting. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they
no,
think there's
it's
some
not
type
the
of
riot. The city is making them close.
no. But what's the fear of the gun? I wonder.
That's
Like,
what I'm
why
trying to
close
say.
it
I don't
down?
understand. But you're gonna keep the liquor store open? That shit don't make no sense, dog.
Yeah.
No, that's essential, dog. Watch your mouth, yo. You know what I'm saying?
It's essential.
People need their vices, dog. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
yeah.
Yo, don't
They
play.
left
Why
the
didn't you shut
medical.
down
They left the
marijuana?
medical.
didn't you
Yo,
shut-
the medical dispensaries is open.
Yeah, medical, but why not recreational?
I felt that same way when they let the liquor store stay open. They might as well let the recreational stay open. I think if you're gonna let the liquor store stay open, let the recreational marijuana
Yeah,
shop stay open.
absolutely.
I
You
agree.
should. They did.
Yeah.
It's just like they playing politics with who they decide is essential and who's not.
You know what I think they're just doing? They're just doing everything in steps, bro. Like they're gonna issue out martial law soon, yo. Like
I think this is a step.
It's just step by step. Like, all right, you give them pieces because you can't just say martial law because the motherfuckers get shook.
I agree. Remember when Marty and Baker, when they were like, "Oh, we're not gonna shut everything down." Like this was a couple weeks ago. They were like, "We're gonna see what happens," and then 2 weeks later, they shut everything down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dog.
So
they know what they're doing.
If they're doing curfews now, it could be coming nationally.
I think it's coming.
I mean,
if they enacted a curfew
in LA, they doing it curfews and everything. You can't even travel. They got quarantines for real. Like you get tickets, all kind of stuff. So it's like, hey, it's happening, man. New York look like a damn near ghost town now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
And to Rome, no, who sent the thing? Stan the article where it was like the ship only had 20.
Oh, it was a ship. It was a 1,000-bed
ship. Yeah,
that was sent over, but there's only 20 patients occupying it currently.
Yeah.
That's as of
I'm
April.
not jumping in that ship either. I'm being honest with y'all, yo. Like I was not.
But
that ship.
I thought they presented it on some. They were like overflowing. The hospitals were overflowing.
But bro,
you gotta fill up space.
But still, they're gonna ask the patients, "Are you willing to go to that ship? Would you go?"
If you have nowhere to go and you need to be seen,
I'm not. I'll go home.
Why?
What happens if you die on that ship, bro? Like y'all gotta really think about that. What's gonna happen? You think they're gonna like preserve
the government should be ashamed that none of its citizens.
They probably running mad lab tests on your body, bro, on that ship. You see, I might
probably do that in a regular hospital.
Yo, but at least in a regular hospital, your family has access to your body, bro. You on that random ship, they could be like, hold on, let's just say your wife trying to come, like, yo, my husband's in there. Like, oh, what's your husband's name? Oh, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, yo, homeboy died, yo. You got to wait, like, 2 months before we release the body. You're like, what? Like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, we don't see him on this list.
You came to the wrong boat. Like, what?
The wrong boat, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, you see? Y'all think it's... man, listen, yo.
There's a hashtag going around called Film Your Hospital or Show Your Hospital or some shit like that.
They should.
And what people are doing is they're filming their hospitals to prove that the outrage and the panic is not accurate to what the media is doing. Because the media is like, yo, they're overflowing, they ain't got beds, there's bodies on top of bodies. And then dudes will go down to their local hospital and film it, and it's peaceful and quiet and nothing's going on. You know what I mean? So look up that hashtag and see some of the. I saw some of the videos, and it's just like, damn. When you compare the videos to what the media is saying, it's like,
right.
I don't know, man. I've been watching like footage of like ER workers. Yo, it sounds like shit real in New York. You know what I'm saying?
If you had to use footage from Italy and then apologize later, you don't got enough footage.
They messed up. Whoever did that, they messed up.
That's ridiculous.
You should have enough footage to be able to say this is what's popping. Why are you using other countries' footage? And the media loves doing shit like it's not the first time they did shit like that. They were doing that shit. They do that shit with all types of news.
No, but yo, I don't. But I don't want y'all thinking like, yo, because fool would be like, yo, conspiracy theory. Oh, it's intentional. Mind games. I think what it is like, yo, they got a fucking intern. They got a kid from college that puts the videos together, and the motherfucker probably just fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
like,
you could be right,
but I don't want people to look over like that.
These are actual videos of people going to their local hospitals, filming it. Like, yo, panic. Where's the panic? I don't see no panic here. That you got telling me on the news. It's all crazy down here. So, and I mean, again, I think as citizens, we need to weigh what we're being told with what we're seeing with our own eyes. And I think it's easy, as G was saying, when the majority of the public will just listen to whatever they're told, that's dangerous. Because like even in Germany, you already got neighbors snitching on each other. Like, yo, this dude's not doing a quarantine, right? Like he's outside.
This dude done coughed funny.
You know what I mean? Like
That's terrible, yeah.
Imagine they bring, they start telling people, yo, report your neighbor. Now that's
Yeah.
on Nazi shit. Yeah.
That shit's getting crazy.
And there's a lot of people that would gladly do that shit too.
Like, motherfuckers already do it, so
yeah, they'll become the neighborhood snitch, man. They'll be like, yo, such and such up the street. I just saw him pull out. He just took his car out. Go get him.
Yeah, that'd be. Oh my goodness, man. The moment you can't trust your neighbors, man.
Especially in a time.
It's time to move. Then you can't trust your own neighbors, yo.
Especially at a time like this. And the funny thing about that is that, like, do we even know our neighbors, bro?
Nope.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm on my business, man. So I already know I don't know shit.
And that's kind of sad because
I'm a hood
nigga. Yo, I'm like,
I'm kind of the same way.
Yo, you know what's crazy, yo? Like, cause my wife, yo, she be quick to like talk to the neighbors. I'm like, nigga, you don't say hi to me, I ain't say hi to you.
Yeah,
I'm on my business for real, yo. Like,
until you need something.
Yo, facts. You know what I mean? Facts. Like, hey, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what separates this generation, though, is like, at least in the past, they went through it together for real, for real.
Yeah.
You could rely on your neighbor and be like, yo, neighbor, I need some eggs. I need some.
But the thing is that was back when people actually had community. People all went to church together. People all went to like. There was only at those times there was only like one school per neighborhood. You know what I mean? So everyone legit knew each other. Yeah. It's not like that anymore, man. Like it's just a different time.
Yeah, man. Everyone's spread out.
But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be.
No, big facts. Yeah.
And because I think they're looking at also the suicides that are about to happen, just from the sense of people being isolated. Because there's a lot of groups that we're not even thinking about. Like I heard a commercial the other day. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. All the people who are fighting addiction.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. I mean? Like they use groups to stay clean.
Yeah.
That accountability. And now they can't do that.
No, but they got like tele-counseling and everything now.
What if you don't? You're an addict. Are you gonna have high-speed internet and a good webcam and computer?
No, you can just call and talk to your sponsor. You do a number of things.
I'm sure you could, but obviously they made the commercial for a reason because of the fact.
Big facts. No, I ain't gonna front that shit. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
You could be calling. You could be on the phone with your sponsor while you cutting up a line right in front of you. Yeah, you can't do that.
If that's the case, then you need a new sponsor, bro. That means your sponsor ain't doing shit for you. Yeah? Like, yo, what the fuck? Oh, man.
And the other thing that I heard of that was crazy was domestic violence, bro.
Yeah, I know. Divorce rates and domestic violence is skyrocketing.
Yeah, because like, yo, you're just trapped with your fucking abuser all day, no escape.
That sounds crazy.
Listen, 911
yo,
still
Godspeed to him, yo. 911 still work.
That's true.
It's all good.
Damn, you know what I just thought about? Shelters, bro. Like, shelters open?
Yeah, yes and no.
There's actually, I think they did something to open more beds. No, what do you know? I don't know.
At least from my wife's perspective, because she works in that field.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people, they don't want to go. There's a lot of dudes.
I heard that too.
They don't want to go to the shelter. Like, it's available, but they don't want to put themselves.
That's crazy. So what what's?
Yeah, think about it.
What is their alternative? What are they doing?
Just still stay on the street.
Stay on the street, B. It's kind of nice
safer
now.
Hey, it's nice now. It's not crowded.
I guess. I think maybe. I don't know. I guess.
That's crazy. Fuck that.
Think about it,
the thought is like
you're gonna go stay in a shelter with a bunch of sick ass dudes, and then have to share
a shower,
and room with coffin and. Come on, dog. One time I stayed in a hostel in New York City when I first went there for school. And I don't know how they legally got away with this, but the owner of the hostel flipped a halfway house into a hostel. And he couldn't kick out the cats that were already there in the halfway house. So you were living amongst drug addicts and just some real unsavory characters in this halfway house.
Why you say it like that, man?
A lot of
unsavory characters. I remember like going to use the shower, dog, and it's a shared shower. Like it has stalls. And dog, let me tell you, I never took a shower so fast in my life, dog. Not only that, I literally tried to touch nothing. Like, it was so filthy. Like, imagine you in a situation where you have to take a shower, but you want to get in and out as fast as you can without touching anything, dog.
Yo, you should have just took a shower on your campus. Like,
they didn't have that.
Oh,
they didn't have that. Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Damn.
yo. Everybody be safe out here.
Yeah, man. Definitely be safe, yo. Everybody be safe. You know what I'm
Be
saying?
safe, dog. Be safe.
Practice social distancing and practice good health. Yeah, and practice good health, yo. That's the real thing, though.
Too, dog.
What's up?
Think about this. I've been thinking about this logically. Yo, social distance until you got to go to the supermarket. And then you go to the supermarket and you touch every fucking thing in the supermarket.
But you got it. That's why you got to disinfect everything, though, when they bring it home.
When I was in the supermarket, I didn't see dudes standing there ready to disinfect shit.
Well,
Did
they do
you-
that every night. I know that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Did you
But
see
when you purchase your stuff, you got to disinfect everything.
Did you see the gaps in line? Do they have like the little stickers
Yeah,
or
I
whatever?
was- Target.
Yeah, I seen all of that. Yeah, and they got like the glass things to protect the cashier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They still got to hand you your money, though. And they're not even wearing gloves.
Nah. A lot of places ain't taking money no more. They're not taking cash.
I paid with
Interesting.
cash. All right.
Nah.
I went to Staples and I went to Target.
You
And,
bugging, man. You pay-
Staples and Target are both open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, they're essential, bro. They're like, yo,
Yeah,
I
they're
know
essential.
Staples, but Target's technically a market.
I needed ink for my printer and I needed a desk. A little mini desk.
Maybe at Staples, but Target is like a warehouse.
Nah, Target.
Target's like a.
Target's essential, bro. Target's essential. It's just like Walmart.
Yeah. You can't keep Walmart open and tell Target to close. That would.
Yeah.
Both of them, to me, I'm surprised are open. I
Nah,
wouldn't
man, this
consider.
is hella essential, bro. Like, yeah,
I
motherfuckers
guess.
sell everything.
But now
Same
they're
thing
talking.
with,
Now they're
Lowe's.
talking about. Now they're talking about not allowing you to buy certain things, though, which I think is fucked up.
Like, hold on, like what?
Like they're saying they're gonna start carting off certain aisles so that you only go to the store to get what's quote unquote essential.
Nah, nigga, fuck out of here, man. Yeah, who told you that bullshit?
And
You know what I
everything that you, every time you bring a piece of this to me, they really want your ass at the crib. You know what I mean? That's what it just is telling me. You know what I mean?
I
They,
ain't trying to hear that shit, man. Yo, nigga, if I go over there, I'm looking for something, and I see that shit, I'm gonna jump that out, bro. You know
They
what I'm
say,
saying?
no, you see, there was like a picture where it showed like the cashier had like a list of items that she couldn't cash out and or ration. Like so, they're also doing things you can't. Like Walmart. As a matter of fact, it was Walmart just sent out a media letter or whatever saying what they're gonna do next is shut off parts of the store, and they're gonna make some of the aisles one way. I don't know what there is.
Nah, that makes sense. Because yo,
What
if
way
it's
aisles?
really
That's a good
airborne,
idea.
if it's really airborne, bro, yeah, it should be like that. You know what I mean?
So you only can go up or down, no back and forth.
Hey, man.
Who the fucking Walmart is gonna enforce that? You know what I mean? Imagine some dude trying to tell you, yo, turn around, dog. You can't come back up this aisle, son. Walking. Keep going down the aisle. What you looking for, body? Anyway, what the fuck you in here for anyways, dog?
You got one-way signs on the aisle.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
That's
stupid,
crazy.
man. Y'all niggas
That's
is fucking
crazy.
stupid, yo.
I don't
Yo,
know, dog. I
listen.
don't know. I start to get real funny when dudes start telling me how to live, dog. Maybe I've just been in America too long, dog.
Hey.
Start feeling funny when dudes is like, yeah, yo, stay in your house. Nah, what you going to buy? Nah, you can't buy that. Nah, put that down. Nah, walk up this aisle like it's just.
If they're trying to protect our freedom, no?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey.
What is
You know,
it? Protect your free,
but-
protect your freedom through slavery or some shit like that.
Hey.
The nigga that don't give a damn about slavery talking about slavery.
Oh, whatever,
Hey,
dog.
listen. You know, it's been a great time. We can wrap it up, yo. You know what I'm saying? I think we're good. We touched on everything. COVID-19, the price of it, yo.
So pretty much all y'all brothers out here, man, trying to get your little late night COVID, better do
Yeah.
that when the sun's out. You know what I'm saying? Real.
That's a
Move how
fact,
you
yo.
want to, dog. This is America, dog.
COVID, yo, was it a Corona and chill? It's only happening when the sun's out. Remember that.
Nah, that's
I'm
a
going out
fact.
tonight. I'm just doing that shit on GP.
GP, all
Wear
right,
my
man.
American
Don't get that
flag.
strange cough. You know what I'm saying?
Corona and chill.
Niggas want to corona
Yeah.
and chill. You better do that shit during the day. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yo, listeners.
niggas ain't getting no more COVID. You ain't getting that COVID, that sweet
That
COVID.
COVID. They already abbreviated it.
You ain't getting that
Listeners.
sweet COVID. All that black and berry, sweeter than juice. Nah, son. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for caring. We appreciate you. You know what I mean? Look, upanic.com, upanicd.com. Go down to see join the convo. This is the best way you know how. That's it. It's You Panic. Yo, Dre, thanks for coming through.
Block
You
and
know what I mean?
block and block.
Yeah, it's You Panic. Talk to y'all next week.
Peace.
Another soldier gone, another mother mourn, another bottle poured, another time I swore there was gonna be no more casualties of war, where briefly we find out how fragile that we are. That was my man, that was the God. I put his name and image on my flesh and put him on the wall. The hood'll tell stories, memories live on. Kept it so solid, monuments rise where you fall. Protocol, when it's your final call, your heart lighter than the feather. Ancestors' acceptance with open arms. Regardless of beliefs, we will one day be deceased, and that's when all debates will cease. But in the meantime, between times, did you set us back or did you make some mean strides? Tear ducts swole up, no more tears, so much suffering in my circumference, I can't control the fear. Pray to be an elder in the future seas can hold their head high and stand up under scrutiny. Your word is gold accepted, where money ain't, when your reputation reaches places before you touch the pavement. Be a fool to think enemies gon' fix this, that's on me and you, we our business. I swear before I go I'ma get a few gon' be. Do me a favor, take out more for me, don't mourn me. Please don't mourn me, please don't cry. When it's my time, it's my time. Get it in blood, make your brother proud. Build a nation in my name, I'll be around. Please don't mourn me, please don't cry. When it's my time, it's my time. Get it in blood, make your brother proud. Build a nation in my name, I'll be around. Don't cry, it's my time. Make your brother proud, I'll be around. Please don't cry.